and Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning to our listeners and viewers back home and wherever you may be. This is the mid-morning talk with myself, Safeeya Mahomed, here on Salam Media. And we have a special feature today. And this feature has been brought to you with the courtesy of Africa Muslims Agency. Excited to have Women of Impact, Safeeya Mahomed, Africa Muslim Agency, Aman School, and Orphan Hope Manager, right here, Finetown, South Africa. And we're also joined by Ola Khadry, or Khadry, she will advise me on her last name, which is an educational specialist at Aman School in Lebanon. African Muslims Agencies, Aman Schools, are a cornerstone of its work with orphan and vulnerable children in Lebanon. The school provides education for Syrian and Palestinian refugee children, especially young girls who are at risk of child marriage and exploitation without an education. In Aman's school, Finetown, a safe place is offered to kids in underprivileged communities. The school allows for education to change young lives and impact the future. Thank you so much for joining us, Ola and Safeeya, and Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa
Thank
alaikum
you.
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for having us, Fasiha.
Thank you for being with us, Safeeya. So, Safeeya, just for listeners and viewers at home, she is joined with us on audio. So we're not going to see her today, but we have Ola joined with us, on visual and audio. And we're going to kind of just rotate between the two of you. And as we dive into the interview today, we're going to start with Ola. Education is one of the strongest tools for empowerment, and I mean, this is a known fact throughout the world, and the importance they are for progress, for a society, for a household, etc. How have you seen the young girls' lives change, at these schools, and the development?
Yes. Let me start first of all by saying thank you for having me today with you. And if I want to speak about the Lebanese refugee camps, I would say that almost half of the Syrian children are out of school. But when a girl is given a chance to attend the school, the transformation is really remarkable. At Aman School, I've seen girls who have arrived withdrawn and insecure and gradually become confident, active, and full of hope. Education not only teaches them to read and write, it also teaches them and gave them the dignity and the ambition for the future. Even one additional year of schooling can really raise the girls' future income by about 20%, and this really vulnerable and the community, and it makes a life-changing difference.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ola. And I mean, even hearing that these girls are kind of developing holistically, not just in the space of academia, but with their self-confidence, with the ability to kind of communicate and express themselves. And we know that in South Africa now we are commemorating Women's Month. Right, and we are celebrating women and girls and women in leadership. Speak to us about kind of the women leading in the space at the school, as teachers and even as students as well.
Usually at school, we have teachers, especially women that are really taking care of kids. Those kids mainly are from refugee camps, and they have psychological problems that they are suffering from, and mainly they have malnutrition problems too. So when they come to school, of course, we have to empower them and lead them in order to just cause a change in their lives, and let them feel that they are really valuable, and they can do, even though they are suffering from different circumstances, they still have the chance and the opportunity to continue and stay valuable at this life. So we are impressing them, or we are satisfying them with the hope that there is a future and everything can be changed.
That's really beautiful, and I think inspiring. for so many that's just tuned in now. And the world definitely needs more of this, spaces and safe spaces for young girls, for women to kind of develop, specifically in the spaces of refugees, given just how distraught the world is. There's so many wars, genocides, just international crisis, and women and young girls need, including young boys, of course, need those safe spaces to develop, to learn and to heal as well. Many girls in Lebanon face the risk of child marriage without education. So perhaps you can, explain this to listeners or viewers who might not be too familiar with the politics and the culture in Lebanon, and how does the Aman school protect and empower these girls and kind of, give them the guidance that they may need at this vulnerable age?
Yep. Mainly in Lebanon, about 70% of the Syrian refugee girls aged between 15 and 19 are already married. Families are under financial stress, and that's why they are causing the marriage of their girls, so that it can become the mainly option that they have. At Aman School, we try our best to provide another path by keeping those girls engaged in learning, offering the psychological support, and working closely with their families. We reduce this risk. Education really delays the marriage and gives the girls the tools to stand on their own. We have seen parents during years changing their perspective when they see how much their daughters grow in confidence and the ability to through schooling.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ola. And, again, this speaks broadly to that holistic development and empowering young girls and women to kind of make their own decisions, and have that autonomy, and that freedom to express themselves with that educational background, which is so important. Safeeya, if I can bring you in here, and you can kind of give us context into what's happening with the school in Finetown, and the context and the culture that these girls kind of grow up in, and what are the opportunities for these children?
Of course, Paseha, I'll echo what Ola said, that when girls are given access to education, their lives transforms in every way. So at Aman School Finetown, a new narrative is set. So instead of staying at home, looking after their siblings, they come to a place where the potential is recognized. At Aman School Finetown, we provide academic support, we provide meals, emotional care. These allow the kids to focus on their own development, and these girls start seeing themselves not just as caregivers, but as future leaders, professionals, and change makers.
Thank you, Safeeya. What are the ages of these girls? Is this like on a primary school level, or is it teenage years?
Yes, so their primary school, we go from grades R to grade 3 and 4 right now. So next year we will be starting at grade 4, inshallah.
Okay.
So that's until 10, 11 years old.
Okay. And then, I mean, what opportunities, are kind of presented to these kids in the school, given that they are still very young, and they, I guess, have to go through a lot of nurturing in this phase as well?
Yes. So the quality of education is very important for us at Aman schools, both in Lebanon and Pinetown. And I think the access they have to the kind of education isn't what we in South Africa would view as, a Model C or public school education. We actually focus on private school education in the academics, as well as access to, computer learning, robotics. We focus quite a bit on that. So it's not about the quantity, but about the quality of the education that the kids are receiving at both the Mount School Lebanon and in South Africa. And I think access to these opportunities really open their world point and worldview quite. It broadens their horizons quite a bit. So we've seen kids with having no access to technology suddenly sit at a computer with a mouse in hand and see the cursor move on a desktop, and for them that's mind blowing. So imagine the potential they have when they finally know how to actually use the computer, and they introduce a bit of robotics and computer coding. Their potential is limitless.
100%. And I think this ties in nicely with what Ola said. There's this element of empowerment, of giving girls self-confidence. And then also, I think what's really beautiful and encouraging about the Aman schooling program is that it gives girls the safe space to develop and learn both academically and develop holistically. And Safeeya, you spoke about something so interesting now, where you spoke about the element of like robotics and technological development, which is so important given that we are now in the fourth industrial revolution, and we have both the pros and cons that is kind of presented with artificial intelligence and how that is shifting kind of the platform for career and thinking. So I definitely want to dive more into, how does this education platform enable these young girls, to kind of break cycles of poverty and find their independence in this world. And we're going to touch and dive deep into that after the break.
Sure.
Masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and freezer card calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Dad, these Frymax chips are so tasty.
Wow, that really takes me back. My dad bought me a Frymax chips every day after school. They were my favorite when I was your age as well. Quality is at the very heart of what we do, and that's why we ensure that every Frymax packet is filled with the beautiful goodness and flavor-packed taste that you've come to expect from us since 1982. Frymax, from generation to generation.
Valley's Motor Spares. We supply motor spares and accessories for all makes and models of motor cars, LDVs, bakkies, trucks, and earth-moving equipment. We deliver on time, every time. Please contact us via WhatsApp on 014-592-0925 or call 014-592-0925 or visit 28 Zenderling Street, Rustenburg. Remember the name, Valley's Motor Spares.
You South African, of course. You anxious about the future. We've got you covered. Build on your wealth portfolio with Rendry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange. Visit us at 151 Stephen Dlamini Road, Musgrave, Durban, or call us on 031-202-4700 for more information. Rendry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
For the first time, I can dream again.
The Africa Muslims Agency Orphan Hope Program provides the food, clothing, and basic support needed by thousands of children across the world. Every child deserves a chance at a hopeful future.
For 15,000 trans, you can transform our lives with the AMA Orphan Hope Program.
Africa Muslims Agency, empowering, educating, inspiring.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.
Good afternoon and assalamu alaikum if you just joined us. This is the mid-morning talk with myself, Safeeya Mahomed. I'm your guest presenter for today, and we are doing a special feature right now that has been brought to you by the courtesy of Africa Muslims Agency. We are joined by Women of Impact, Safeeya Mahomed, AMA, which is Africa Muslims Agency, Aman School and Orphan Hope Manager in Finetown, South Africa, and Ola Khadry, educational specialist at Aman School in Lebanon. Thank you again for being with us, Ola and Safeeya. We've been touching on so many different parts of the school, the program, the academia, and the holistic development of young girls and women, including the context within the societies that they are growing up in. And I want us to kind of go a bit deeper into that in terms of, you know, how the school is enabling them to kind of break cycles of poverty and give them their independence in the world. And Ola, maybe you want to start off and comment on this, and then Safeeya, you are welcome to chip in and kind of share with listeners, you know, some local examples of how this is being done.
Of course.
Okay. Let me start and say that in Lebanon, we have only about 61% of the refugee girls have reached the primary school. And by secondary school, only 1 out of 4 are still enrolled. This means that most of the teenagers in the camps are dropped out, leaving them exposed to childhood and early marriage, child labor and early marriage. Many girls face poverty and community pressures, but the result is the same without education. This is what we think. Without education, it's the cycle is going to be that of depending on their families, or even to depend on themselves in order to continue. That's why at Aman School, we interrupt that cycle, and we equip the girls with the confidence, with the new skills, and the choices. We are breaking the chain of poverty and building the independence of those girls.
Thank you
I
so
think
much for
to
sharing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
thank
think
you,
to echo
Safeeya.
what Ola says, that in the South African context, very much similar to the Lebanese context, you know, kids are from either refugee or low income households. So the under-resourced areas like Finetown, education helps these girls overcome generational poverty, and it opens the doors to employment and self-reliance. But for me, the most important thing I think I've seen, you know, girls go from being shy, uncertain individuals to very confident, well-rounded, self-esteemed young women who can articulate their dreams and also take steps to achieve them. And I think the expression of themselves, the skills to earn a living, and the belief that they have in themselves matter, that they have a future beyond the limitations that the society has placed them in. And I think the educated girls really are more likely to uplift others too, in terms of creating a ripple effect to their society. So they go home and they teach their younger siblings what they've learned in school, or they go home and they teach their parents what they've learned in school. Often, and I think I've seen this in the camps, the refugee camps in Lebanon with the Aman School in Lebanon, is that the students would go home and teach their parents some things that they'd learned in school, and their parents would then in turn become a bit more educated and a bit more self-reliant as well. So it's really got this true ripple effect being created. And I think the school was started in Aman School was started by a girl asking for AMA to start a school for refugee children in Lebanon. So a young girl child went up to our CEO and asked him to start a school for them because they just had no access to education.
That's an absolutely inspiring story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Safeeya. And I think both what you and Ola spoke to, you know, speaks to the importance and the pivotal role, the incremental role that education plays in shaping society, in shaping households, and the future of these young girls. Who are going to become women one day, you know, and kind of have to lead in their own households, etc. You know, and the generations will continue on, and so. I mean, we cannot really speak about this without addressing the psychosocial support that they may need in the process. And Ola and Safeeya, I mean, maybe you both can kind of speak to this, but what type of psychosocial support is being provided for them within the schools? Is that directly from the teachers? I would take it that the teachers are also trained in somewhat to kind of handle, I guess, the level of trauma that these young girls kind of may still live with or experience on a day-to-day basis. So, Ola, I'm going to give the mic to you, and then Safeeya, you can take the mic afterwards.
Okay, sure. Many of our students at Aman School in Lebanon, they come from camps where they have lived through displacement, they have lived through loss and daily insecurity. Um, I can say that in total, only about 6 out of 10 of the refugees even know how to access support services. That's why psychological care is essential for those kids at Aman School. So when girls in general feel safe emotionally, they begin to heal. I have seen girls that came to school, or also students in general, that felt or arrived anxious and silent. Then, after months of counseling and supporting them, they grow into leaders in the classroom. Psychological support really gave them the back of their voices, their confidence, and the hope to continue.
I think
Thank you
in the
so
South
much for
African
that.
context, which differs, yeah, differs a bit because in Lebanon, you've got a lot of kids who've experienced trauma, loss, and displacement, whereas in South Africa, our teachers take it on a case by case basis, and then we refer them to counselors and speech language therapists, that sort of thing. So over time, we found that the emotional strength of the girl child is the foundation for their success. So without healing, learning is incredibly difficult for these children.
Mm. Thank you, Sophia. I think that this, I myself am also very passionate about mental health, and so I really love this topic, and I think you both touched on some really important points. Ola said something so beautiful. She said when girls are given a safe space, when they feel emotionally safe, they automatically start the healing. And so I think just recognizing why schools need to also be designed in a psychologically safe way to enable that healing, which then Sophia kind of latched onto, and you said, for them to succeed academically, we need them to be well psychologically. And so the interconnectedness of the wellness and the development of the girl child is just incredibly interesting and inspiring to me, and great work that the school is doing. Ola, many young girls look up to the female educators as role models in these schools, as mentors, as, I want to be like her when I grow big. And I mean, let's speak a bit about the future of these girls and mentorship.
Yes, as you mentioned, yes, lots of girls feel that their teachers are the role models. That's why they try to imitate them, and this has really happened in more than one student case studies where we have. Where they came to me and said that we want to be similar to our teachers who are really empowering us to continue. They specify some points they found in the teachers where they think that they really need to have in order to continue. So you can feel how much it's joyful and happy to see how you are empowering young ladies, young girls, and giving them the hope to continue and the opportunity to change.
That's absolutely inspiring and very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that with us, Ola. We are slowly coming to a close of this program, Sophia. But if you can maybe, Sophia, if you can touch on the Orphan Hope program that supports thousands of children, including in Afghanistan, and what does that program provide to these children?
Of course. So the Orphan Hope program provides comprehensive long-term support to children who have lost either one or both parents, sorry. And this includes access to basic education, regular meals, clothing, medical care, and emotional support. But I think more than that, this program, gives these children dignity and a sense of belonging. So whether in Afghanistan, South Africa, Lebanon, Gaza, we work to ensure that these kids are not forgotten, and at least their basic essentials are, being looked after. And we have a comprehensive program that it keeps the child engaged with the donor on a monthly basis. So, whether the donor wants to pay for a party for a child or get feedback on the child, we provide, regular feedback to the donor as well. So the donor is quite involved in the child's life. So it's not just a once-off thing and you never hear from the child again. No, it's a building of relationships with the child and the donor.
Thank you, and I think thank you for that consistent work that you guys that you ladies are doing at this amazing school. And I think let's end off on that note, speaking to that consistency, that empowerment for young girls. And Safeeya, the mic is yours, and then Ola thereafter. But to close, what message would you share this Women's Month about investing in young girls' education for their future?
I think my message would be simple but urgent, that when we invest in a girl's education, we change the future, and not just for her, but for entire communities and generations to come. An educated girl is more than just a student. She becomes a leader, a protector, a provider, and a voice for others who haven't yet been heard. We've seen that girls are more likely to delay marriage, pursue a career, raise healthy children, and lift others out of poverty. So I think we need to change the narrative around seeing girls' education as optional or secondary, and it needs to be more foundational. So yeah, let's not wait. Let's stand up for every girl who dreams of a better tomorrow. Give her the tools, the space, and then the support. She needs the support to build it, because I think when a girl rises, the whole world rises with her.
I love it. I love it. Girl power. So empowering. Ah, what a wonderful interview. Ola, what message do you have, in terms of investing in girls' education and changing the future?
Yep. I want to add to what my partner just said, and said that every girl has the opportunity to change. So that's why after being educated, those girls are going to feel more satisfied and protected, and their dignity is going to be restored. And I think that in order to transform the future, a better future for those girls, we have to look after their education, mainly to let them feel filled with satisfaction, with self-satisfaction.
Thank you so much. That was Ola Khadry and Safeeya Mahomed. This special feature has been brought to you by the courtesy of African Muslims Agency. Women of Impact, Safeeya Mahomed is the African Muslims Agency, Aman School and Orphan Hope Manager, Finetown, South Africa. Ola Khadry, Educational Specialist at Aman School, Lebanon. Thank you so much for joining us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you too.
Thank you, Fasiha and Salam Media, for having us. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you.